What in the world is going on in Stillwater, Oklahoma with the Oklahoma State Cowboys program? West Virginia has some competition with who's losing the most players to the transfer portal. Pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let's talk about it. What is up, college sports fans, Big 12 fans, and fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Couz. Welcome into another edition of Couz's Corner. Pull that chair up and let me serve you up another shot of top shelf college football content. On tap in this episode, once again, we're talking Big 12 football. This time the focus is on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Before I get into it, no, I'm not wearing a seatbelt here in my studio. I'm actually having my arm in a sling. I broke my arm last week taking down Christmas lights. The ladder fell. I hit the driveway. Fortunately, it's not a severe break, but it is a break nonetheless, so I have to wear the sling a while. But just wanted to let you guys know what that is around my neck for those of you who may not have known what was going on with me. But anyway, and real quick, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. Let's dig in. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have lost 4 players to the transfer portal in 24 hours. 3 of those players are wide receivers. They have lost 6 wide receivers either to the transfer portal or graduation. They have lost 16 players total to the transfer portal, which is now equal to what West Virginia has lost, and they are tied for first place in the Big 12 for the most players lost to the portal. But what might be more stunning and more alarming for Oklahoma State fans out there, based on what I'm reading on Twitter and whatnot, is that most of these players are not just backups or walk-ons or whatever. They're productive guys. I'm going to read you a list of the guys that have transferred out of the Oklahoma State program. Some of them you'll recognize right off the bat. The most recent one was wide receiver Stephon Johnson, who was a freshman who actually played in 10 games for Oklahoma State this year. Had a good year as a freshman. Defensive lineman Samuela Tualamaka. I hope I pronounced his name right. Wide receiver Bryson Green. Wide receiver John Paul Richardson, another contributor, transferred yesterday, the 3rd of January. Then you go back to December, you've got guys transferring Jabbar Muhammad, Dalton Cooper, cornerback Jabbar Muhammad, offensive tackle Dalton Cooper, cornerback DeMarco Jones, wide receiver Langston Anderson, quarterback Spencer Sanders. That's been probably the biggest name so far. Running back Dominic Richardson, wide receiver Braylon Presley, defensive lineman Trace Ford, safety Kenyon Williams, offensive tackle Noah McKinney, safety Thomas Harper, offensive tackle Eli Russ, linebacker Mason Cobb, their top linebacker. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was the leading tackler for the Cowboys. Kenneth Harris, cornerback, wide receiver Dejon Stribling, linebacker Nadrian Desidare, edge rusher Anthony Goodlow, linebacker Justin Wright, and running back Sean Tyler. Now, that's the list of the guys who have transferred or have entered the portal so far. Now, a lot of those guys have yet to commit to other programs. Some have, but that's not the point of this video. My point of this video is to, number one, ask the question, Oklahoma State fans, what's going on in Stillwater? Why are so many players leaving your program, especially at the wide receiver spot? Is there an issue? I'm hearing rumors that Casey Dunn is not being fired, and some players want him fired. Then I'm hearing rumors that he is being fired, and the players that like him are leaving. I'm hearing all kinds of crazy stuff. This reminds me a lot of what's going on at West Virginia. I mean, we've lost our top 4 pass catchers, 2 to graduation, 2 to the portal. We've lost 16 players, the same amount as Oklahoma State. We've lost several starters, 2 receivers. We lost a starting defensive lineman. Actually 2 starting defensive linemen. One guy did have starting experience, wasn't starting at the end of the year, but nonetheless, he had started games for us. We've lost 2 starting defensive linemen, 2 starting wide receivers, a starting defensive back. So yeah, we've lost a lot of guys too. A lot of guys who contributed to the program. So a lot of similarities here. But what's baffling, West Virginia's struggling right now. They have been struggling for the past 4 years. So it's a little bit more understandable for us to be losing all these players. You get a program like Oklahoma State who's had a winning seasons. What I don't know how many years in a row now Oklahoma State's had winning seasons, and yet they have this many players leaving. Something's going on at Oklahoma State. I'd like to know from Oklahoma State fans, what is it? I'm just curious. I don't like to see this happening. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of do. Not because I don't like Oklahoma State, but because I don't want West Virginia to be the dumpster fire of the league. But anyway, uh, but yeah, I'd like to know what's going on. I mean, you've got former players calling out the coaches on Twitter, just like is going on at West Virginia. I mean, for example, former player Zach Siner said hopefully a couple coaches into the portal as well. He's a former player at Oklahoma State. Then you've got Trace Ford, who I mentioned earlier, who transferred to Oklahoma. You know, their biggest rival, by the way. He actually did an interview with Doug Gottlieb and opened up about why he left. And here's the most, I'll put a link to the article in the description box, but here's the most telling quote from this. We'll give credit to Philip, who hosts the 10-12 podcast. This was on his Twitter account. A lot of this information I got was from his Twitter account, but he put up this quote from Trace Ford's interview with Oklahoma. It says, this is a quote from Trace Ford. "It's more about me having a year or two left, needing to be developed and get to the league. I know I can be developed more at OU than I am at OSU. It's just business in my eyes." So apparently he doesn't feel like he can be developed properly at Oklahoma State. He wants to go to a program like Oklahoma that's a blue blood program, obviously has a reputation of putting more guys in the NFL. Now, they do have a new coaching staff there. You've got Britt Venables, who's the head coach now, and the defensive guru, and now is the head coach, and Trace Ford's a defensive lineman. So he probably wants to go play for a coach like Brent Venables, who he thinks can put him in the league. So apparently he doesn't think the Oklahoma State staff can do that. Now, apparently there's a lot of other very telling stuff in this article, in this interview that Trace Ford did, and like I said, I'll post a link in the description box. But things are not good at Oklahoma State right now. I'll be anxious to hear from some Oklahoma State fans. What are your thoughts? What are you hearing out there in the rumor mill? Have there been any stories out there that I haven't seen about some coaching changes, anything like that? I know just a few days ago I did a video about Mike Gundy blowing up with that reporter in the press conference for asking about coaching changes. And you would think after the season collapse they had, there may be some. And I'm hearing some. I was just on a quick Twitter space with some Oklahoma State folks. They're having some of the same complaints at Oklahoma State we're having at West Virginia. Mike Gundy is really, really loyal to his assistant coaches, maybe to a fault. To where if he has an assistant, they feel like if he has an assistant coach that's not performing, he's not willing to get rid of him. Some West Virginia fans have had the same complaints about that at WVU. So, it's very, very ironic that we're hearing some of the exact same things happening at Oklahoma State, a program known for winning. They have a winning tradition at Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy's put one of the top 10 winningest coaches in the past decade. So it's really, really you can look at this two different ways. One, as a college football fan, this is not good. You hate to see these kind of guys, these many guys leaving a football program. It's just not good for the sport, in my opinion. It makes it harder on coaching staffs to fill these holes and that kind of thing. But on the positive side, as a West Virginia fan, I look at this and go, okay, wait a minute. I step back and say, okay, West Virginia is not the only program dealing with these types of things. When you've got a program like Oklahoma State, who's known for winning and developing talent and has put a lot of guys in the league in their own right, it makes me feel a little bit better about what's going on in Morgantown. Maybe the sky's not falling in Morgantown. Maybe things are not as bad as we seem to think they are as fans at times. So, there's good and bad to this. And also, like I said earlier, I was kind of joking, but there is some truth to it. As a West Virginia fan, it makes me happy that, because when you see that you're losing more players than other teams, you worry that you're going to continue to struggle to win games in the league. Maybe if other teams start losing as many players as we are, things will be a little bit more. There'll be some more parity and things will kind of be more level, so to speak. But anyway, let me know what you think, Big 12 fans, Oklahoma State fans. I'd love to hear from you on this one. Let me go Mountaineer Nation. What do you think about the situation at Oklahoma State? How does it compare with what's going on at West Virginia? We recently got news at West Virginia. Our star receiver that transferred, Caden Prather, just committed to Maryland, his home state school. A lot of Mountaineer fans are upset about that, but hey, the kid's going home. It's hard to blame him for that. But I want to hear from you, Mountaineer fans. What do you think about this situation going on with the Pokes in Stillwater? I want to hear from you. Right now, folks, between today, Wednesday, January the 4th, and Sunday, January the 8th, get you an item from our merch store. Take advantage of the 23% off discount that's going on right now. Don't miss out. These deals don't come along every day. These are always limited time offers. To celebrate the year 2023, they're giving 23% off all items in my merch store. Click the link at the top of the description box or click the photos below the description box. That'll get you in my merch store as well. You can join Couz's Corner, but to become a channel member. By the way, shout out to the winner of the Capital One Bowl Mania contest, Cody Cutright. We do still have one more game left to play, the national championship, but Cody has a big enough lead to where even if whoever's in second place wins that game and he doesn't, he's still going to win the contest. So congratulations to Cody Cutright. I just sent Cody $25 today for winning this. So congratulations, Cody. Go buy you something nice for that $25 or buy you a nice meal, man, whatever you want to do with it. But congratulations to Cody. And to Cody and all of you channel members out there, I really appreciate your participation in the contest. But most of all, I really appreciate your support for what I'm doing here at Couz's Corner, trying to grow this thing, trying to get as big as we can here, covering West Virginia and Big 12 stuff here at Couz's Corner. So please help me do that by continuing to support me here financially. You can leave a one-time donation by hitting the heart thanks option right below. It's the heart with the $sign. Leave a one-time donation along with a comment. If you want to support me free, do the things I mentioned right off the top. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It all helps the YouTube algorithm. With that being said, I really appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning into this episode. And until the next one, Q Country Roads. West Virginia.